If there is such a thing as a rivalry in modern-day NBA, it might be the Wizards and the Celtics. This one actually goes back to last season, but pick it up back in November where John Wall and Marcus Smart got into it as a beef coming off of last year. Then it continued into their meeting in January with Jay Crowder and John Wall. Maybe Jay Crowder said something to Randy Whitman at the end of last season, which kind of fueled this fire, and they kept on going and going and going until the Wizards said, you know what? We're going to have a funeral here. And we're going to wear all black for our game against the Celtics. And how about this, though? They showed up and won that game. That's what was the best part about that for Washington. And now, with just one day off for these teams to get ready, Game 1 gets underway Sunday at 1 Eastern. And they split the season series. But for the Wizards, they said that they're going to use that 6-game series against Atlanta as a lesson to be prepared for round 2.
What can you take from this game going up to Boston on Sunday?
A lot. You know, the first thing is that we can win on the road. You know, we've shown, we can fight through adversity. You know, we were up 19, 20 points, and they ended up coming back down to 3. You know, we ended up closing it out. But just being able to withstand, their run and, coming together and getting a win on the road, that's the biggest thing.
Wall was their head of the snake. They're a great transition team. I feel like we got to get better and better each game with our transition defense. We've been talking about it with these guys as well, but it's probably going to be a little more enhanced with those guys, with transitioning those guys getting up and down and try to make it a half-court game.
Sky's the limit for this team, and the reason why I say that is not only because of the group of guys that we have and how hard they work, but it's Brad Stevens. He works just as hard as us. We're a family. We're together every single day. We all share the same goals, and we all want to be the best people we can be and the best basketball players.
We just try to stay the course on the day-to-day, and if that results in us winning more games or winning in the playoffs or whatever the case may be, there's only one goal in Boston. There's 17 banners above us. We don't have a choice.
It'd be something remarkable to put an 18th one up at the Garden this year, fellas. But it comes under very different circumstances with the Celtics, as we've been talking about through the first round, with Isaiah Thomas having to compartmentalize and play through the tragedy of his sister dying. And he's at the funeral as we speak, and is going to be back in time for Sunday. Derek, can you imagine what that's like? How tough it was in round 1, and now to fly back cross country after a funeral?
It's unprecedented what he's been forced to deal with. Obviously, the emotion of losing a loved one can be devastating. I give him a lot of credit, have a lot of respect for him because of the way he's been able to play through the tragic of losing China. And I think the one thing that's in his favor is the sanctuary, is the basketball court. His teammates, the whole organization really rallied behind him, and as a result, he's continued to get results.
Absolutely. Just playing with a heavy heart and, going out there night in and night out and just, finding that therapy within those lines, it speaks volumes. And, it's a testament to the character and the person that he is. And it's just great to see the city and the team and obviously the organization just rally behind him and, try to get wins and quality wins for him.
And now we got ourselves a great point guard battle between Isaiah Thomas and John Wall.
It's one of the battles in the Eastern Conference that I've definitely been looking forward to seeing. One of the best in the game, Isaiah Thomas, extremely durable. But you look at a guy like John Wall, which I said that he was the second best player in all of basketball in the Eastern Conference because he does so many things and he's so valuable to this Washington Wizards team. And he's making shots, he's facilitating, he's making others better. And, to see him and Isaiah Thomas go at it for a 7-game series, it's a joy to watch for a basketball fan.
Derek, one thing as your experience in time at the point guard, the one game John Wall maybe didn't play at his best in Atlanta when they lost in Game 4, it seemed as if John Wall was so focused on getting Bradley Beal and everybody else their touches, he forgot to play his game.
And it's important for him to play his game. Obviously, he leads this basketball team, the head of the snake, I like to say all the time. As far as his game is concerned, Bill will get his points in the flow of the game. I don't think you have to necessarily force feed him the basketball. They need Wall to be John Wall if they're going to get out of this second round.
I thought it was extremely important that you just touched on that because what I saw the first time they came back with the first road game after coming from Washington 2-0, I thought that, role players play great at home, and that's exactly what happened in Washington. But when they came on the road, they needed John Wall to stay extremely aggressive. This is a guy that's averaging 30-plus points, shooting over 50% from the field, and doing all these things, but I thought he's a little more reserved, and then he got going in the second half because he could take over games at any time.
We know both these teams, Washington and Boston, have star go-to guys, but you were talking in our production meeting about the bench being the X factor for both teams. Who was going to have the better bench, guys?
Well, I would have to say, Washington in this series, just because I love when they're the underdogs. But you got guys that can step up in amazing roles. You added Green to the lineup, and he's done an exceptional job. He's a guy that can go out there and create a shot, do a lot of things. So with him, but you got Porter and you got other guys like Brandon Jennings that can step up in a major way and, have those nights that can be special nights for the Washington Wizards.
Well, you never know who the X factor is going to be. The other night, it was Gerald Green. He stepped up, had a huge night for the Celtics. As far as Washington is concerned, they have a lot of guys that can come in, make shots. But I think what's going to determine the series is which team can get quality production off of their bench is going to be in position to be the more dominant team in this series.
I think the key is going to be what type of home reception the Wizards get when they come back to Washington when Caron Butler's there watching the game.
I definitely will be there game 3. I'll be in the house.